안녕하세요. Good afternoon. 안녕하세요. Good afternoon. Welcome everybody. My name is Bernardo Guillamón. I work for the Office of Outreach and Partnership at the Inter-American Development Bank. Really an honor and pleasure to be with you this afternoon in this Korea-LAC event. That the first one was many years ago, and I was here when this event happened. Really a success story in terms of the partnership between Korea, LATAM through the Inter-American Development Bank and the Caribbean. And today we have the very important topic of which is sustainable agriculture and the opportunities around Korea and LATAM and the Caribbean. And we have the honor to have with us the presence of the Vice Minister of Agriculture, Food and Rural Development, Mr. Bum-Soo Park, who will be delivering the welcoming remarks, and then we'll have a panel session with presentations that will go over it after his initial remarks. Floor is yours, Vice Minister, please.
Good afternoon. I am the Deputy Minister of Agriculture, Food and Rural Affairs of the Republic of Korea, Bum-Soo Park. I wholeheartedly congratulate the hosting of the 6th Korea-LAC Business Summit. In particular, this year marks the 60th anniversary of our diplomatic relations, and it is even more meaningful that this event is being held in Seoul, the capital of Korea, at such a time, to promote cooperation between Korea and LAC nations. I welcome the government officials and members of the agriculture and food businesses from the LAC region to Korea. On behalf of Korea's Ministry of Agriculture, Food and Rural Affairs, I am pleased to take part in today's seminar, which is being held under the theme of promoting Korea-LAC Synergies to boost technological innovation and sustainable development in agriculture. I hope that through this event, Korea and LAC can further promote exchanges and cooperation in the field of agriculture. In particular, LAC is a region with great growth potential in the field of agriculture, and I hope that cooperative ties will develop further into mutually beneficial relations. Agriculture is the basis of the world economy and is a crucial industry directly linked with the healthy lives and survival of people around the globe. However, recently, the global crisis such as climate change, the pandemic, and disruptions of the supply chain has hit Korea and LAC countries as well as the entire global community. And at such a time, we are also faced with issues related to food security and agricultural sustainability threats. In order to overcome the challenges that agriculture is faced with and to respond to rapid environmental changes, innovation of agricultural technology is required. Countries around the world are eyeing smart agriculture to resolve agricultural challenges, and smart agriculture has emerged as a policy priority for many countries. Within this context, Korea from early on has implemented smart agriculture and other innovative agro-technologies, making various efforts to foster agriculture as a future growth engine. The youth farmers have implemented ICT, and this trend has been further promoted in the Smart Farm Innovation Valley, which has been established in 2 regions. Such smart farms will also be further created, 2 more of them actually within the year. Recently, throughout the agricultural value chain from production to distribution and consumption, the application of advanced agricultural technologies has been expanding. For example, the smart packing house to smart distribution. We can see that throughout the value chain and the agro industry, we have seen the application of the state-of-the-art technology. Korea, with its advanced ICT technology, Korea has successfully transformed itself from a food aid recipient country to donor country with agricultural innovation. And Korea has been conducting smart farm technology cooperation projects with countries in Southeast Asia and the Middle East based on its past experience and capacity. In cooperation with the UAE, we developed a greenhouse suitable for the desert climate and applied a Korean-style complex environmental control system and successfully cultivated crops. I hope that Korea's technological know-how and rich experience can contribute to the development and dissemination of innovative agrotechnology, such as smart agriculture in the LAC region. The LAC region has great agricultural potential with abundant resources and labor. And we believe that when these are combined with the strength of Korea, which is cutting-edge agricultural technology, considerable synergy will be created. Agri-food companies attending today's seminar are also making great strides to develop innovative agricultural technologies and have achieved outstanding results. I hope today's seminar will serve as an opportunity for Korean and LAC agri-food companies to actively share relevant information and network together. In addition, I hope that trade and investment between Korea and LAC countries can be expanded and human and technological exchanges can be actively promoted. I would like to thank you once again for attending this seminar despite your busy schedules, and I would like to also express my deepest gratitude to all members of the IDB for your contributions in hosting this event. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Samida. Now moving into the panel session, I would like to, before passing into the presentation of the speakers, I wanted to frame a little bit our conversation and presentations today, and referring to three important aspects regarding the technological innovation and the possibilities to further cooperation between Korea and LATAM in this topic. First, regarding the topic of agriculture becomes even more important at this time, particularly after the pandemic. We become even more aware of the strategic importance of the food and agribusiness sector, but also with the geopolitical issues, particularly the war in Ukraine and the current situation regarding availability, prices of food. We're really concerned in the world about that, and we see from Latin America that we have a great potential to offer regarding world food security. Precisely, the area of agriculture also contains a lot of interface with the issue of climate change, and we think we can offer a lot in terms of the work that we can do in terms of mitigation, and also particularly in the working with adaptation in the agricultural sector. We have a growing world population. We have a middle class that is requiring more resources in terms of food, and we think that there is a lot to do in this sector. That's why it's the strategic importance of this area, not only in this forum, but also as an area of further cooperation, investment, and trade between Korea and LATAM and the Caribbean. Secondly, I wanted to mention about the importance of the LAC and food sector in Latin America. As you know, our region is endowed with a tremendous amount of natural resources. 30% of the medium to high arable land is in Latin America. 1/3 of the freshwater resources are also in Latin America. The biodiversity, the high biodiversity resides in Latin America. And we have a huge potential to move into be the big suppliers of the food and agricultural products to the world. In fact, the recent study by OECD and FAO stresses the importance that Latin America is moving to be, and in 3 years, 25% of agricultural exports are coming from our region. So we are a huge player. And that happens with anything that we do every day. Coffee, half of the coffee in the world, the exports come from Latin America. Similarly with beef, soybean 60%, banana 70%, orange juice, flowers from our region. So in a variety of topic, fruits and vegetables, many other wines that you can enjoy here also from our countries that you are already accessing through the trade agreements, through different arrangements that our countries have been evolved with Korea, our region can be an important player to the world and also in the relationship with Korea and with the rest of Asia. But to continue to be and to tap these capabilities, we need to continuously improve the use of technologies that help us to improve productivity. Total factor productivity in the agriculture sector has been increasing over time, and we have countries that demonstrate success story in that, and we have examples that we're going to be presented today, and how we can do that in a sustainable manner, incorporated technologies that help us to do taking care of the quality of our soils, the water, and also avoid the contamination of the air. We also see our region with a huge potential towards the future. In fact, we conducted a study together with the 30+ partners, including academia, private sector, a few years ago, regarding the possibility of Latin America to be the next global breadbasket. And if you project total factor productivity increases that we have now in the region to 2030, it's the only region in the world that will have an excess capacity of 66% by 2030 of the production to be supplied to the world in terms of agricultural products, compared to Africa, where can only barely meet 25% of their capability in sub-Saharan Africa with their own resources, or to East Asia that could reach only 79%. So we can be an important strategic player to Korea and to the rest of the world regarding this sector. Thirdly, Korea. Korea is an amazing partner. We are very proud at IDB, since Korea joined the bank back in 2005. The opportunities have been working together with Korea in terms of deploying your success story as a country in terms of development, your institution, your capabilities, to learn from you and to deploy different instruments of cooperation, of investment, to transfer these experiences and to facilitate investments into our region, and also join programs of companies to do that together. We have been remarkable examples of the agricultural sector, as recently presented by the Vice Minister, and also we'll see examples today in our today's presentation from the institutions of Korea that are in the cutting edge of developing technologies, especially in the IT sector, applied to agriculture, applied to Internet of Things, applying to the integration of data analytics into production, trade. And this is amazing to see the ecosystem of innovation around this sector. This week I have the opportunity with Born to Global to visit a few examples of companies that are in the cutting edge of deploying these technologies into agriculture. The example of Tridge. Tridge is the first unicorn in the agtech sector in Korea, becoming a global player, helping to do trade among players all over the world. And it's a startup that started here in Seoul and now is covering the whole world in a variety of 180+ products and facilitating trade with innovation, and is becoming the new Google in agriculture. Come from here. Another wonderful example that was raised here in the Panjo Park is Green Labs. Green Labs using data and Internet of Things to help to improve productivity at the farm level and improve traceability, and also raise the cost benefits for farmers here in Korea. Is looking forward to expand to other parts of the world, and Latin America offers again good possibilities to deploy that. Another huge area of opportunity is bioeconomy, biotechnology, CRISP. So all these areas where Korea is so advanced can be deployed to improve productivity, to improve the use of the resources, to avoid further contamination, improves the use of fertilization. For instance, CRISP technologies have been very much developed. We have here, I will talk about later, the experience of the biotech center in Seoul National University in Pyeongchang, which is a great example of how public sector, academia, and the private sector can deploy these technologies of the state of the art to move into breakthroughs in these areas of the bioeconomy, improving productivity, lowering the impact on the environment, and reducing the carbon footprint of several of the crops. So improving in a way to do sustainable intensification of the agriculture. So I'm excited about all these opportunities. We're going to have a wonderful presentation from each of the panelists. So the idea now is to pass the presentation now to Inés Bonicelli. She is from Uruguay, also coincidentally my home country. She's going to present our experience of our country in this sector. She's Vice Director of the Institute that promotes trade and investment in Uruguay, called Uruguay 21. Inés, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. I think your introduction was very interesting, and you mentioned some of the things you'll see in my presentation about what Uruguay is doing. And to some of you, I want to introduce you to my country and tell you a little bit more of what we are doing. Uruguay has been traditionally exporter of food and agribusiness in general. And we are a country of only 3 million people, but we are currently feeding 30 million people. So this is some of the surplus that Bernardo was talking earlier. And with applied technology, with the right technology and the ag tech and innovation, we think we will be able to feed up to 50 million people in the future. Let me tell you a little bit more about why we think Uruguay is a great partner for companies and for governments in East Asia, especially Korea, in Latin America. Our value proposition as a country is based on 5 pillars: reliability, access, very attractive set of tax incentives, access to talent, and lifestyle. When we talk about reliability, we think about all these indexes where we rank #1 in the region. They're related to democracy, civil liberties, low corruption indexes, kind of social indexes that investors especially looked at when thinking about a country to partner with. Uruguay also ranks very well in all those indexes when compared to countries in Europe as well. And one of the things that makes us a stable and reliable country is actually the very good relation between the income per capita and the income distribution in Uruguay, where we are also ranked #1 in the region. This is something that's getting more and more important each day, the ESG rankings, environment, social, and governance, and Uruguay, together with Chile, are the highest ranking countries in Latin America, with that places us in a very interesting place and attractive for investments, not only financial investments, but also investments in the real economy. And we are very well positioned as well in terms of clean energies. Uruguay has gone through the first energy transition, started about 10 years ago, and we are now embarked in our second energy transition, going into green hydrogen, and Uruguay is receiving a lot of interest and a lot of investment in those areas. Uruguay is also a good country or an easy country to do business in. By law, foreign companies get the same treatment, equal treatment as locals. There's no local counterpart required. No restriction to repatriation of profits or dividends. There's one simple national tax system, and there's free foreign exchange market. Those are things that make us very peculiar in our continent. As I mentioned earlier, we have been a traditional food producer, and this is our export matrix as of today. We have 50% of our exports are agribusiness and food, topped by beef and meat, paper pulp and wood, soy, rice, meat, wheat, dairy, beverage, concentrate, and wool, leather, and textile. Those make up for 50% of our exports. But we also increasingly are starting to export global services and trading as well. This is with the growth in the technology sectors, where we are also advancing and improving our ecosystem. I'll talk a little bit more about this later. We have 17% that's mostly manufacturing and 3% export in tourism. Why Uruguay in terms of agribusiness and food exports? We produce reliable food. It's a natural production with open air breeding, free of hormones and antibiotics. And we have traceability system that traces every single head of cattle all over the country. Through Uruguay, you can access a huge market that is all of Latin America. It's more than 400 million people. We have a very strong research and development ecosystem as well. And we are good at adapting our offer to the requirements and the high standards of the different markets that we sell to. In general, the buyers that buy Uruguay products are buyers that are concerned with food safety and the safety of the supply chain. They are buyers that buy healthy foods. They care about their quality of life, and they value technology applied to improve their lives. Uruguay plays an important role in the commodity markets. We are among the top 10 exporters in all of these products that you see here. And we are advancing a lot in the certification of most of these products, both the production itself in the primary state, but also along the whole industrialization process. We have certification in the paper and pulp and cellulose sector, in the beef production as well, and in the wool production. We have two international certification companies that are attracting more and more farmers to join the certification, and that makes us very our product a niche product abroad as well. This is just a map of Uruguay and how we switched from being a country that mostly produced livestock, cattle, several years ago, and now it's been mapped, and there's several areas that have priority for the different uses that you see here. And getting back to the topic of this panel and how we think we can cooperate or work with a country like Korea, and as it was mentioned before, Korea has an expertise and a know-how in technology applied to agriculture and the agribusiness in general that we think we have an opportunity to work together. The strength and competitive advantages of Uruguay as technological and innovation hub are the following. We do have very active and growing ecosystem of entrepreneurs and scientists, and the ecosystem is formed with private and public sector. We have an agri-food innovation ecosystem and a legal framework that promotes the creation and internationalization of agtech and biotech startups. There's an investment promotion agency aimed at attracting global agtech players and biotech investors. And we like to present Uruguay as a test nation because it is small and controlled, and the reliability and being a stable country are all factors that make it a good country to test new technologies and then deploy them to the rest of Latin America. And then we have recent laws that were introduced an agroecology law that promotes the production, distribution, and consumption of agroecological-based products. We have a biotechnology law, a new one as well. And another presentation card for Uruguay is the good and the successful and early COVID pandemic control that we had during COVID as well. And we know that Korea is actually a leader in terms of innovation for the sustainable growth. And we think that Uruguay, with its 200 scientists and the scientific institutions, are a good match for the ecosystem that occurs here in Korea. These are some of the sectors where we see opportunities: food tech, agrobiotech, human and animal health, health tech, cosmetics, and cannabis. And I want to tell you about two projects. I still have 4 minutes to go. Yeah. Two specific projects that we are implementing right now in Uruguay, where we think that there might be specific opportunities to work together with Korea. One of them is we are starting next year. We're gonna be having Uruguay Innovation Hub. It's actual campus with open labs where we expect companies to do their technological prototyping in artificial intelligence, blockchain, Internet of Things, 5G, augmented reality and virtual reality, as well as biotech. And we already attracted some labs from North America and hopefully Korea as well in the future. But we have new lab. We have Microsoft Labs that have opened their first lab outside of the US in Latin America. They have one in Munich, and then they opened the second one in Uruguay. And we will have some biolabs and agtech labs as well. And the idea is to have this campus working out of Montevideo, our capital city, and we will be attracting, hopefully, venture capital funds, startups, and accelerators. And I think there's the big opportunity of doing or promoting joint ventures with Korean startups as well. And the second project is, and I know my colleague is going to talk about this a little bit later, but we are actively working together, Uruguay, with Seoul National University for Agri and Food Biotech Innovation Center in a joint venture based in Montevideo, which we are very excited about, and we'll hear more about this a little bit later. This is just a map of some of the multinational companies that have chosen Uruguay to base their headquarters. Hopefully we'll see some Korean companies in the future in this map. And these are some other things that when I mentioned the pillars, why is Uruguay attractive to foreign companies? The access to talent, we are the only country in the world that actually has successfully deployed one laptop per child program. We have multilingual talent. Most of our population speaks both Spanish and English, and a large part also speaks Portuguese. And last, the lifestyle in Uruguay is really good, and that helps to attract companies, to attract headquarters, and hopefully talent as well. It's a very easygoing and relaxing place, and safe as well. This is a little bit just a map, and I can share this with you later on, but the tax incentives that we have, the tax regimes that we have in Uruguay that are very, the most attractive are we have a free trade zone law where a lot of the companies decide to install their headquarters. And our investment promotion law, which is also very attractive and implies tax cuts for investment in manufacturing. Again, why Uruguay? We think it's a unique combination of attributes: the stability, transparency, and sustainability. It's easy for business. It's the access to the rest of Latin America, logistically as well. And there's this talent availability I talked about earlier. So I hope it was a good overview of what our country is and what we have to offer. So thank you, and later on.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ines. In fact, I wanted to complement a couple of things there, that some of the cases, like the CEIBAL program, the one laptop per child, we received the support in Uruguay through the ADB of Korea to help to implement that program. And several other programs, the digitalization of the country also received in the government. And we have here colleagues that have been working on this matter. So thank you so much for, again, to the Korean government, the Korean people, to the support of the case of Uruguay, as many other cases that we see today. And talking about other cases, we're going to have the case of Belize. Belize is a very strategic country in the Caribbean. We have Valentino Sal, CEO of the Ministry of Rural Transformation, Community Development, Labor, and Local Government of Belize. He will do a presentation from the perspective of a country that has a lot to offer in terms of biodiversity, in terms of potential productivity, and also a rich access to the sea. So a lot of things. So welcome, Valentino. Floor is yours.
Thank you. Which one is it? Is it the mouse?
The mouse, yeah. Yeah, you green button, forward, and this is back.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having us here in Korea. It's a pleasure to represent Belize. Belize is a small Caribbean country in the Central American mainland. As I have been telling our friends here in Korea, we are an English-speaking country in a Spanish-speaking neighborhood. And so it gives us a very unique vantage point. We are very close to Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador, and Mexico, which combined together presents a very large market. But we are going to compete with Uruguay for being the smallest country and the smallest economy, because it is indeed a very small country. I just wanted to share with you and maybe orient my presentation to the Caribbean at least, simply because we are very small economies, small countries compared to the countries of Latin America. While we have industrial powerhouses like Mexico and Brazil and Argentina and even Uruguay, the countries of the Caribbean are unable to operate at that level and in the same fashion because of the sheer size. Agriculture in the Caribbean has been historically export-oriented, so there is a lot of experience with exporting commodities, mainly sugar, bananas, and in the case of Belize, citrus. And our markets are currently, of course, North America, Mexico, and Europe, which, again, because of our unique history. Agriculture has been a very critical part of the economies of the Caribbean. This is just a graph that shows from 1980 to 2020. There is a decline in terms of the share of agriculture of GDP. However, it still remains very significant. and it employs about between 10 to 25% of the population of the Caribbean countries. And so when I'm talking about Caribbean, I'm talking the small Caribbean states, of which Belize is one of them now. And so I just wanted to, very interesting here though is the case of Belize is that we have compared to the other Caribbean countries, we have an upsurge in agriculture. And a lot of this has to do with some of the new diversification that we have been doing in our small agriculture sector. So Belize and Dominica, for instance, are actually increasing their share of agriculture in their economy. Belize is very food secure. Belize produces 60% of the food it consumes. And this is very significant because a big part of the economy of Belize is tourism. And so we have twice the size of the population of the country visiting the country. So we're feeding at least 2 and almost 3 times the size of our own population. And so it's very, very food secured. But we do have challenges to growth, investment, and food security for Belize and, of course, the Caribbean that I'm referring to. We are very vulnerable to climate change, which is part of the issue that we need to address. We are also unable to satisfy the tourism demands, which is a problem in itself, but also in that problem is an opportunity. So there's opportunity to grow the agriculture sector of the Caribbean. But of course, again, because of the size, it's difficult to scale. So how do we compete in the global marketplace when you are very small and very difficult to scale? The countries of the Caribbean at the moment only satisfy 37% of the tourism for the demand created by tourism. So this is a huge gap that can be filled by growth in agriculture. So I just wanted to share a couple examples of some of the ways that we have been doing some of the innovation in Belize. Of course, innovation and technology is very broad. It includes, water management for agriculture, production practices, efficiency of production, managing post-harvest issues, information forecasting, weather information, and crop insurance, and those types of things. But I will just address a couple elements in the presentation, and I wanted to use the example of two cases, one from a NGO, which is a civil society organization, and one from a private sector organization, to see how they're doing their adaptation, trying to improve agriculture, while at the same time addressing the issue of climate change and ensuring that there's very limited impact on the environment. I just wanted to share again the definition that we're using, the application of technology to reduce vulnerability, enhance resilience of economies to the impacts of climate change. So this is a very interesting example from Belize. This NGO is using a leguminous plant to grow and to produce agricultural products. So instead of clearing the land, they plant this leguminous plant, and in between they plant the crops. And so as a result, the soil is protected, the environment is protected, the biodiversity is protected, but agriculture production increases. So there is food security, there is products to put on the market, and they're all very, if not organic, very near organic. So there's a lot of reduction in the use of synthetic fertilizers. What does this do? We have seen a very huge increase in the production of cacao using this system, a 10% increase in the production of honey over the last 3 years. There's increased productivity, income, and food security. As a result, there's this plant is used to restore degraded lands. So where you have grasslands before, you can restore it. There's soil and water conservation. You protect the forests and the habitats for wildlife. And of course, because some of it has to do with agroforestry, there's a carbon sequestration that we take out of the environment. No? One of the unique things about what this NGO is doing in Belize is they are actually cultivating agriculture products in protected areas. This is not normally how you do protected areas. You keep people out, but instead now they're using these systems that are very environmentally friendly to produce a high value crops. No. The other example is the Belize Livestock Producers Association. This is a group of from the private sector. They produce livestock, and again they're using a plant to increase their livestock production, using a plant called Lucina, and then planting high-value timber trees in the pasture. So instead of clearing out the land as is normally done for pastures, you use silvopastoral systems. And this was a project that was funded by the IDB, where they established 10 model farms and did training for farmers. And the result was very interesting. So this is the result of this intervention that was done. We saw an increase in the carrying capacity per acreage. So let's say you would have one head of cattle per acre of land. You can actually double or triple the quantity of cattle you can put on the same piece of land. There's also faster weight gain of 2.5 pounds per day per animal. There's over a 20% decrease in the cost of production, 20% reduction in methane emissions, which again, because we're trying to be adapt to climate change and reduce and mitigate climate change. Because of the way this activity is done, it restores degraded land as well. There's carbon sequestration because you're planting trees. There's biodiversity conservation because you're restoring habitats. You protect the soil. And overall, there's efficiency and productivity and income that is increased as a result of this. And so there was a study done to test to see what it achieved, and there was a clear indication that it is a very good way to increase the productivity of the livestock industry, while at the same time reducing its impact and also helping to mitigate climate change, which is one of the targets for Belize. We are trying to ensure that we meet our target for 2050 to get to net neutrality, carbon net neutrality. So how do we do successful innovations? Some of the recommendations I would like to share is to have predictable but flexible government policy regimes, provide a good mix and sequence of policy measures to overcome barriers to development and diffusion of innovation and creativity, to understand how is it that we can approach this by not introducing innovations that can have a negative result in the end, because that occurs. Sometimes we introduce technology and it has a very negative effect in the end, no? And of course, we need to keep the discussion and the communication between networks to ensure that everybody understands what the common goal is, and so we can have the protection of the environment, but increase in agriculture productivity at the same time. Some opportunities for investment and cooperation that we can consider is to take advantage, of course, of the linkage with the growing tourism sector, especially for the Caribbean. The Caribbean is known for its beautiful beaches and islands, and so that is going to continue to grow. The demand for food is going to be there, and so we need to keep investing and to grow the output in order to meet that demand. Because Caribbean economies are very small, there's no way we can compete with Uruguay and Brazil and Mexico, simply because of the vast scale that they have. But we can improve by moving up the value chain, developing smaller, high-value product like organic cacao and organic chocolate, which my friends in Korea enjoy quite a bit. No, we can, of course, expand production to take advantage of regional markets. Like I said, we live in a neighborhood that has a huge population. At least I think combined, there's a population of 15 million and with a combined economy of $1.6 trillion, right in the area. So there is opportunity for growth now. And of course, we need to continue investing in alternative and renewable energy, because agriculture is also energy intensive. And so if we're going to grow this sector, we need to ensure that the energy we use for production is also very, very green. No? And I was very happy to learn that Korea is very engaged with research institutions with Latin America. I think there is opportunity there for Korea to engage with the Caribbean side of LAC. We have the Caribbean Research and Development Institute, for instance, Institute for Research in Central America. So, and of course, with local universities. So these are things that I think that we could work on. I think there's plenty of opportunity to see how we can grow the economies of these small Caribbean countries, bringing the technology that Korea has mastered to these approaches that we're taking. It's going to create a whole new, unique way of doing agriculture. And so I think that is one of the great opportunities that we have. Thank you very much.
Thank you. In fact, really great examples that you mentioned in cacao, utilizing leguminous to capture nitrogen, avoid the use of synthetic fertilizers that are really difficult to obtain even today, and expensive too. Doing so, that shows precisely those examples on the cattle one shows the possibility of using appropriate technologies that help to reduce also cost. At the same that would be good for the environment, the sustainability, and increase the yields of crops, and do it in a way that can then be certified and differentiate your product and obtain a premium. So really smart examples that we can help to replicate. And I think the connection now with the Korean panels will be very neat, because you mentioned the issue of Belize, the small farms and the small production. Precisely, I'm impressed in the case of Korea to see they have here in a country that is 60% of the size of Uruguay, which is a small country in South America, Korea. They have over around 1 million farmers here. I was impressed with the colleagues of the company Green Labs. They told me they have already 800,000 farmers linking to their program of solution, of technical solution. So it showed, and they were showing me cases of productivity levels increased by the use of IT technology in the way they manage their farms, in the way they use the water. They use they have sensors in the soil. They have different applications of deployment of technology, which we'll hear now from the colleagues of Korea. So next speaker will be Mr. Don-In Kim, Head of Overseas Projects Office in the Korea Rural Development Corporation, who will bring a very interesting presentation on how they are deploying the state-of-the-art IT into agriculture and the acceleration in the adoption of technology, promoting startups. And also we'll hear some examples of overseas projects they are doing to deploy these efforts that hopefully in the future we can do also with Latin America and the Caribbean. Dr. Kim, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. It's my great honor to be here today. My topic is application of ICT-based agricultural technology. As you know, ICT means information and communication technology. Especially today, I'd like to focus on smart farm and smart water management system applied in Korea and other countries by KRC. First of all, I'd like to introduce KRC. KRC is Korea Rural Community Cooperation, public enterprise under Ministry of Agriculture, Food and Rural Affairs, and leading agricultural and rural community development in Korea since 1908, having more than 100 years history. Its main activities is to develop and manage water resource facilities and irrigation and drainage, farmland consolidation and groundwater development, and also rural community development. Also, KRC is strengthening international cooperation with many countries to share its experience and know-how since 1970s. We have more than 4,000 engineers. Let's move next topic, smart farm. What is smart farming? I can say smart farming is first, monitor environmental data such as temperature, humidity, solar radiations, and so on. Second, manage growing conditions. For example, cooling and heating system, nutrient solution, and water supply. And finally, realize automatic and remote control. According to a recent study, smart farm increased productivity by 32%. On the other hand, decreased working hours 14% and decreased disease insect by 6% comparing to traditional greenhouse farming. Today, especially, I'd like to introduce Smart Farm Innovation Valley project supported by Korean government since 2018. The main purpose of this project, number one, is grow youth farmers. Number two, establish high quality production and distribution system. Number three, enhance technology innovation. Let me give some information about main facilities in the Innovation Valley. Firstly, Education Center provided professional education program for new and young farmers to improve their experience and know-how about smart farming. Secondly, R&D complex carry out experiment and demonstration farming and test of new technology to improve their productivity and agricultural convenience. Thirdly, rental smart farming provided low rental fee smart farm for startup farmers to improve their management and cultivation capabilities and also generates profit for their startup seed money. Fourthly, data center collect and process real-time environment and growth data to implement digital agriculture based on data. Currently, for Smart Farm Innovation Valley is ongoing in Korea. Two Innovation Valley, Kimje and Sangju, under operation completed by last year. On the other hand, Miryang and Goong, two Innovation Valley, is now under construction and completed by this end of year. The total area is about 1.2 million square meters, and total project cost estimate around $300 million. Now I'd like to introduce Smart Farm Valley one by one. I want to give some information. This is a bird's eye view image of Kimje Innovation Valley. This valley have its education center, rental smart farm, and R&D demonstration smart farm and data center. This is a bird's eye view image of Sangju Innovation Valley. This valley also has education center, R&D complex, rental smart farm, and data center. You can see the greenhouse and nutrient solution system, R&D equipment, and management and data center in the slide. This is Goong Innovation Valley, now under construction. And this is another Innovation Valley, Miryang, also under construction, supposed to be completed by the end of this year. Currently, KRC cooperating with Kuwait government to apply this concept of Innovation Valley into Kuwait for around 1 million square meters. So both sides supposed to sign memorandum of understanding to launch this project as G2G project. G2G project means government to government project. I think this project contributes to food security not only Kuwait but also neighboring countries such as Saudi Arabia and Bahrain. Let's move on another topic, smart water management system. What is smart water management system? This system is aimed to optimize the efficiency of water use using intelligent sensor information communication technology and water analysis. In general, this system consists of measuring equipment, data server, and application programs such as data management, disaster management, water allocation analysis management, and early warning system. According to recent survey, this system can decrease the water loss by 16% and turned out to be very efficient in coping with unexpected disaster. This is a schematic map. You can install measuring equipment at the important location and all data sent to the data center through mobile network. This is comparison between traditional monitoring method and IT-based method. IT-based monitoring methods collect data through sonic wave or pressure sensor and control remote terminal unit using digital and interactive network. Also use wireless communication and solar energy. From now on, I'd like to introduce practice in Korea by KRC. KRC have 4 information systems to get real-time information on hydrological data and also facility information. Now we are operating real-time telemetering and tele-control system. All data and information service to all stakeholders through internet system. KRC also operating integrated water management system. This system manages water resources based on the data monitored KRC's monitoring system, but also other organizations' information system. Now I'd like to introduce overseas experience. The first project is Smart Water Management System in Kark River Basin, Iran. This project consists of development of smart water management system and establishment master plan for 5 river basins, also weather forecasting system. This system have important 3 functions. First one is water allocation. Water allocation means estimating water demand and simulating water distribution. And second is climate forecasting. Third is monitoring hydrological data. This is flowchart of the project from data collection and field survey to topographical modeling and hydraulic modeling. This is This is hardware configuration and real-time monitoring system under operation by Iran government. Second project, water resource information system in Uzbekistan. This project also consists of master plan and development of water resource monitoring system and installation of equipment. This system have two important service system. The one is real-time monitoring system. The other one is decision supporting system. All data service to stakeholders by mobile system. You can see the location of measuring equipment installed at the important site. This is monitoring station powered by solar system and monitor rainfall and water levels and image of the state, and then all data sent to the data server. Besides the Korea-LAC spread out pilot project into several Asian countries. This is Thailand. This is Vietnam. This is Myanmar. Now it's time to wrap up my presentation. Finally, I am confident the smart farm and smart water management system is a very important solution for food security against rapid climate change. So we hope to find out more cooperation opportunities between Korea and Latin America. Thank you very much.
Excellent presentation, Marlin, to see how deploying all these technologies, you can have sustainable production, increase productivity, attract young talent into farming, an issue that is worldwide happening. Is tough to maintain younger generations in agriculture production, and bringing a Korean example of bringing technologies, new approaches, how you materialize this, providing this combination of technologies is really amazing with the training, with the venture capital, with the startups related to this. So really a great example, and I would love to have next time more examples of Latin America as you pointed us. Here I'm sure through this presentation here and through the colleagues and the many people in Latin America that will hear and connect with this video, will have a lot of interest. So to follow up, thank you. So next presentation, again, another wonderful example of success and of an academic institution, Seoul National University, an institution that is top in terms of academic production and delivery of wonderful results at all levels. But one topic we're going to focus now is precisely on biotechnology and agriculture. We have with us Dr. Min Soon Park. She's associate professor of the International Agriculture and Technology at Seoul National University, and she will present us where they are on that and what possibilities and some of the examples what they see of opportunities to work together in Latin America. Floor is yours.
Thank you, Bernardo. Hello, everyone. My name is Min-Soon Park from Seoul National University. Maybe some people are unfamiliar to my school. I work at Graduate School of International Agricultural Technology. I have no special slide of my campus, but my graduate school has one campus from Seoul National University, Pyeongchang campus. Then my graduate school focused on the biotechnology. We have the crop biotechnology, livestock technology, and food biotechnology, and green engineering, and international agricultural development and cooperation. I belong to International Agriculture Development and Cooperation. We have learned concrete cases from Uruguay, Belize, and Korea, and Korean cooperation with other countries. And now As a forest, agricultural, and environmental policy scientist, I'd like to emphasize the policy-oriented approach for improving green biotechnology and agricultural innovation. I don't need to explain the definition of biotechnology, but we adopted biotechnology, science and technology to living organism or part of a living organism. We want to use biotechnology to create new products and new knowledge, new ideas for the better and sustainable society, not only in Korea, in all countries. And we have also diverse biotechnology. As you can see, here, the biotechnology has a gradient by cost and the complexity. The countries have different level of biotechnology, from traditional biotechnology to advanced biotechnology. In particular, in the field of agriculture, maybe South Korea can have a high biotechnology, the genomics, genetic engineering, and another Latin America country have different level of biotechnology. But we could combine different level of biotechnology, and we need different level of biotechnology to adapt to the context and facing the global issue, including biodiversity loss and climate change. And through diagnosing the exact problem of the countries, we can try to select appropriate biotechnology. But we know diverse range of biotechnology, and we can also cooperate each other for advancing, for improving biotechnology related to agriculture. You know, the biotechnology has multiple colors related to application area, not only agricultural sector. As you can see, the several sectors use biotechnology. Today, I'd like to highlight the three general biotechnology area: the red biotechnology, health area, health sector, and white biotechnology, energy and environmental sector, and green biotechnology, agriculture and forestry sector. We classify the three colors of biotechnology, but we can combine the biotechnology, green and red biotechnology, green and white biotechnology. And biotechnology bring economic output. We want to use biotechnology for improving our benefits. And using biotechnology, we use the new concept of bioeconomy, but simultaneously we use the green bioeconomy, circular economy, and bioeconomy. Each concept have different focuses, but we follow the green investment, green job, green market, and the supply chain, the life cycle for reducing negative environmental impacts. And bioeconomy, the highlight biotechnology application for the rural development and urban development. We will use the bioeconomy concept using the biotechnology. You can see that around the world, a lot of countries adopted bioeconomy policies, including Uruguay, Paraguay, Colombia, Brazil, and Argentina. And it means a lot of countries support the bioeconomy policies, bioeconomy strategies. We have already used the term of innovation, the technology development. For innovative approach, we need a national system, the national environment. For adopting biotechnology for improving agricultural sector using biotechnology, we need a network of institutions in the public and private sectors. I think you know it very well, but we need the innovation system at the country level. And we can say for innovation policy, we needed to consider supply side and demand side, and the policy can support the technological push and market pull. Then government can combine the different style of or the policy measure through regulation, through financial aid. Maybe international organization, including IDB, can support the policy side for improving biotechnology. It is one example. I analyze innovation policy in Europe and Asia. It is one example, the Asian cases. We analyze the policy instruments focusing supply side and demand side. How countries combine supply and demand side policy instruments, including regulation, regulatory instrument, financial aid, economic instrument. Then using the policy instrument, we could find the leader countries in eco-innovation, the follower countries in eco-innovation. Using the data, we could analyze bioeconomy policies in Latin American country or in another country. Then we can check, we can diagnose the national innovation system and bioeconomy related policies in agriculture. We know already the importance of technology, but each country have a different strategy to adopt biotechnology. Some countries want to acquire the foreign technology and mean technology transfer from other countries. The other way, the country can improve and develop technology. We could select two pathways, but for sustainable society and sustainable development, the Latin American countries, Latin American Caribbean countries can think about not only technology transfer, but also developing the technology. I have already mentioned we have a different level, different range of biotechnology, but from the current technology, we could consider what kind of technology can be advanced using current research, or we can also advance the technology through cooperation. Then we can pay attention to, again, national innovation system, the actors and linkage, not only governmental side, but also private sectors. Then we can consider the company's capability and network and the science system, the research and development, including university and research organizations. And the national innovation system, Ines has already mentioned the biotechnology law and agroecology law. We could see the legal framework to support technological development and also participation or the investment by private actors for national innovation. Then the other part is the education and training system and market conditions. It depends on country context, but the Latin America countries and Caribbean countries have very close relationship among countries, and they can use this network and cooperation, the capacity for improving the national innovation system. Then I'd like to share some example from my university. The Pyeongchang campus highlight globalization and industrialization in the field of agriculture. It is one example of the crop biotechnology, the international patent in advanced agriculture. The Professor Jugon Kim developed drought-resistant resistant rice gene. And he has international patent registration, and this technology to adapt to climate change. And he's working now with Uruguayan partner, targeting soy, the drought-resistant soy genes. It is one example crop biotechnology. The other part is food biotechnology. The one example, the mandarin juice, then Professor Dongman Kim, they developed the new technology, the low sugar and oligosaccharide, and it is related to healthy food. Then we can consider how we add values to agricultural product. Then through adding value, we can create a new market, and we also should pay attention to new market at the national level and global level. And Latin America countries have a lot of material, agricultural material. Then we can consider how can you bring added values. Then you can consider international cooperation. For international cooperation, in particular between South Korea and Latin American countries, Caribbean countries, the priority in biotechnology cooperation. At first, we could consider collaborative research to develop the new technology, food, agriculture, and forestry. Then the other part, the reduction of the cost of input for food, agriculture, and forest products. Then through this, with two priority, we conducted one IDP project. Then one example, the Korea-Uruguayan cooperation. As explained already, we are prepared for Agri-Food BD Center. We hope that this center will be established in Uruguay, but it can be a world-class center targeting agri-food biotechnology. In the process of the project, we visited Uruguay, and Uruguayan scholars experts visited Korea. That we understand the different environment, the different technology, and we see how we could cooperate each other. Then now we have a plan to establish Agri-Food BT Center, how we work together. The main thing, industrial part and academia partnership. My campus, Pyeongchang campus, is based on partnership between private actors and the scholars. Not only research activities, we want to use the agricultural research result to industrialization and market and advancement in South Korea. And through cooperation, we also bring the knowledge and experience to the Latin American countries. It can be one great example. It is a view of my office, and I hope that you can visit my campus. Then I can explain more detail our activities, our cooperation. I'm also work with the Latin American and Africa and Asian countries. I'm also working with Paraguay and Guatemala in the field of forest management. We can also work together. Thank you. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Misun. Really amazing to see how this applied academic research translates into innovation with the private sector, how this center catalyzes and exemplifies the potential that we can do it, and hopefully you're working together with Latin America, and the case that you mentioned in Uruguay could be also a reference center for the region, and we hope to replicate that in many other places too. So now we open the floor for questions, comments from the participants. So if we have any questions or comments, please raise your hand and we pass the mic. It's Friday afternoon. We are losing audience here. Anyway, this is going to be viewed by many people. The platform of the bank is connected. Now in Latin America, it's too late, but hopefully we are going to disseminate. This is, I think, one of the areas where we see the greatest potential, untapped potential of collaboration between Latin America and the Caribbean and Korea. And I think the institutions examples that we have now from Seoul National, from the Ministry of Agriculture and their institutions shows the tremendous potential here and the advancement they had in the last few years, and how we can, like we have done in many other fields with Korea, we can translate this into action. So I don't know if the member of the panel want to comment anything else. If not, we move into final remarks. So basically, I wanted to conclude by saying to you a couple of things. First, in terms of precisely on the tremendous complementarity. We have a region with the tremendous capabilities in terms of food and agricultural production, food, fiber production, and this is a region that is growing in terms of productivity, that with the technology that we examples and the institution from Korea, we can move to another new level in terms of differentiation, adding value to other products, and diminishing the impact on the environment, contributing to lowering the effects for climate change, and also improving, adapting our production to the more variable conditions in terms of weather patterns, temperature, etc. This potential, secondly, I want to emphasize that we at the IDB, we can offer, as being Korea a member of the Inter-American Development Bank Group, a platform of collaboration. This platform is this trade and investment summit is an example of people-to-people exchanges. Then we can set up also knowledge exchanging. We have the knowledge sharing program between Korea and the rest of the world, and to Latin America is done through the IDB as one of the main challenges. This is an example. We have done many knowledge sharing programs in many areas. When we started the cooperation with Korea 17 years ago, we started with the smart grids. When the region was moving into new sources of energy, renewable energy, how to combine all that through smart grids. So we have a ton of examples of how we can start to combine capabilities and technology innovation of Korea with LATAM. The bank offers these vehicles, offers the trade and investment forums, offers the knowledge sharing, but also offers the technical assistance financing. We have the Korean Trust Fund, thanks to the support of the Korean government through MOEF to support that, and KEXIM in the implementation of some of these programs. We have Korean trust funds that help to put this technology in action into projects and deploy them in all the countries of Latin America and the Caribbean. And hopefully we can, into this topic, go way farther as we have that we have been so far. And then in the strong amount of financing, we can also finance larger scale projects in the public side. And we have the Korean Infrastructure Facility. That is a facility we set up for co-financing with the MOEF and implemented through KEXIM that allow with lower cost for the countries to co-finance with IDB. It's been a facility that started a few years ago with $100 million. We moved into 300, and then we amplified $500 million more this year. We have already almost 700 million deployed into almost 20 projects. And this is something that can help to build infrastructure, smart infrastructure into the agricultural field, into innovation centers like the ones we are talking here, and many other examples. And with IDB also, we're moving into, and with Korea, in how we can replicate and the innovation system that you have in Korea with the venture area. The partnership with Born to Global, the startup pitch sessions that we had this morning are a clear example of that. We started to partner 4 years ago with the Panjo Park of Technology, and we already, with Born to Global, started to do this type of meeting, putting together startups, technology startups from Latin America with startups from here, and develop joint ventures, new companies. And this morning we had an example of like 5-7 examples of companies that are done with a startup from Latin America and Korea that develop a new company and are going to the world together, combining efforts. So there's a lot of possibilities. We have a great potential. We have a region willing to work and move forward, and we have a country that is an example to the world in how fast they develop and how sustainable you have done. And it's the window to the Asia, an area of enormous opportunity for our region. So thanks again to everybody. An honor to have such a distinguished panel here and count with the IDB group as your partner moving forward. Thank you very much. Have a good afternoon.